I've opened up a rather old document here, jso2.htm, to illustrate another point, and that is that you can pass information to functions that you define in JavaScript. This makes functions very, very flexible. So if we want to create two alerts in our web page, then we can do that without typing out two separate long alert lines. So I'm going to create a function called alertMe by enclosing this information in a braces here. And this will allow me to alert this message only at this time. So if I went to body and typed on load equals quote alert me, then this page would just simply throw up an alert after the page had finished loading. Okay, so I'm going to save this as JS14. This is not a particularly difficult script here. I want to make sure I put the period here. And I can drag that in here, and it says, hi there, welcome to my web page, and sure enough, that works just fine. But I haven't improved the functionality of this web page from JS02. I've actually made it maybe even a little bit more confusing. But what if we could take some text or take a string and pass it into this particular function? Well, that's done in this fashion. I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call that variable something like what text. And instead of taking this text literally and putting it inside an alert function, I'm going to cut the text. It's really important here. I'm going to cut it. I'm not going to just delete it, because I'm going to paste it a little bit later on. I'm going to cut the text, and I'm going to put the variable in its place. And that's the variable that's going to be passed in to the function, the value of the variable that will actually be passed into the function. Now, when I want to call that particular function down here, I can paste that text inside the alertMe area here. And instead of just calling the function, we're going to call the function and pass this as a value. One very, very, very critical thing here to understand is that you cannot have nested double quotes inside other double quotes. So we need to make these actually single quotes. So that's something that also people will mess up when they begin working with JavaScript. They get a little confused about when to use double quotes and when to use single quotes. But basically, if you have a string in which you need to have quotes around in order to pass it somewhere or use it somewhere, and that is also inside double quotes, you need to make sure that those are that you use single quotes in that case. So it should always go double quotes, single quotes, and then if you need to put quotations inside of single quotes, you go back to using double quotes again. So I'm going to save this now as js14a.htm. And I'm going to load js14a.htm in here. And it says, hi there, welcome to my web page. And sure enough, that has the same functionality. Now, why would you do something like this? It sounds like we've made something much more complex than we've needed to, and we have so far. But what if we wanted to tell the user goodbye if they leave the web page that we're on? That's done using, I'm just going to hit the return key here. That's done with an onUnload tag or attribute. And I'm going to do the same alertMe function. And instead of passing in a hi there value, I'm going to say goodbye, nice seeing you again, single quotes, and then right parenthesis, and then double quotes. I'm going to save this now as JS14b. Now on unload, that event is a user-based event, and what happens is when the person decides to leave that particular page, they may hit the back button, or they may type in a particular URL or what have you, but when they leave the page, then this this alert will then come on. That's the design of it. So I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to take JS14B and drag it in here. And we get the welcome. Click OK. And then if we hit the back button, it says, aha, goodbye, nice seeing you again. And we get the second alert box here. Now that's really, really important. Of course, when we go back, we get to that, get to the previous page that we loaded in. So again, to take a look at this, we are calling the function twice. We're calling the alert me function twice with two different strings. So we're using the function in a very efficient manner. Hi there, welcome to my web page. It's passed in and assigned to the variable what text, and then we alert that text that was actually passed in. The same goes for the goodbye text down below.